Well, welcome back to Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. We are starting to set rafters over the garage and the bonus room. Biggest job was getting the roof line cut back in here. I'll take you up and show you that. And so we are in the process of cutting out rafters. My friend come over. I've been sick for 2 days. Or was sick for 2 days. I was out Monday and Tuesday with a fever and just weakness, general weakness. I think I may have caught it from one of my kids, which is typical. But I'm back at it. Didn't put in a full day yesterday, but trying to get a full day in today. Come out here. Of course, I did do last week I did do the floor here. I don't know whether I actually filmed any of that. That was pretty much a repeat of what I had done on the house. But the biggest job was actually tying in to the existing house. I had to strip back some of the shingles here. Oh, I guess I'm hitting that. I had to strip back some of the shingles. Of course, last week I had finished the week by doing the dormer because I knew I was going to be tying in here and trying to work around that dormer. With that roof line in there was going to be pretty hard. So that's why I did the dormer. And so we built in the cricket this morning, the valley there, to get that in. And now we're just getting ready to set rafters. We got the first 16-foot ridge up, and we've got most of the rafters up here. These are 2x10s, 2x9s combination. These are things I again cut off the property, and we're using them. I got the extra thickness, made them extra thick instead of 2x6, so I could get R30 in the ceilings here. But stepping back here, you can kind of get a feel for, kind of the size. It's a little hard, right the way we're setting here. But my process of setting is actually not that bad. We come in and we laminated a 1.5 by 1.5 little stopper here, as you can see. It's just a couple thicknesses of boards, and glued it together and spiked it down into the rim joist. And that way, when we cut out our rafter, as you can see, this is kind of the cutout pattern. It's got that little cheek cut on the floor up against the block, and then my tail is only like a 5-inch tail. Sticking out there is going to be a 12-inch overhang. So these are all, once they go up, I mean, they just kind of drop against the ridge, and I nail them in. The biggest job is just getting the ridge beam in and cutting out the rafters. So that's what we're working on this afternoon. So I will bring you back a little later, kind of show you what we get done. It's harder, like I said, I'm up on the scaffolding, my friend's doing the cutting down here, and so not a lot whereby I can set up and run the actual camera, but you can kind of see the process of what's going on here. Like I said, if this was the pattern, the ideal here is 2 people, but you can, once you get those ridge boards in place, one person can pretty much set these with that block, because all you do is put your rafter up past your ridge board, set it down on the block, and when that lays down against the ridge board, it's there, because we're making all of these rafters off a pattern, and then just go up and tack the top and bottom. So I designed that system. I used it over on my shed as well, on the baby barn, when I made my rafters there. I've used it 2 or 3 times in construction, probably been more like a half a dozen now. Having worked by myself a lot, that was, I found, the best way to do it, because it kept my rafters from kicking off the wall. So anyway, that's where we are today. I will bring you back a little later this afternoon and show you what we get done. But we are setting rafters. Now there's one other thing. There's a dormer here, right here in the middle. And so that'll be framed as just an opening for now. But we'll come back and we'll fill that in. Well, it's a little later in the day. And we've got quite a few of the rafters up. It's a the hardest process, as I noted before, is getting the ridge boards up. And so we got that last ridge board up, ready to go. We've got all but about 7 main rafters to go in, give or take, and then this section here is going to have a Jenkins head on it, and I'll show you what that's like at another point. This section is still open because this is going to be framed for the dormer, and it doesn't take the long rafters. It's basically 2x6 and whatnot, because I don't need the insulation here. It'll be in the walls and in the ceiling. But we came a long way today. Once we got going, we got a system going. You can kind of look up across the plane of the rafters and see that we've got a fairly straight roof. I still have a little bit of planing to do as I put the OSB on. I'll run the planer for anything that's got a really bad hump in it. Now the 2x6, when I was doing this 2x6 rafters, OSB will bring some of that out of the 2x6, but these 2x10, rough 2x10, don't know how much the OSB is going to bring that out. So I'll do like I did with the floors and plane as much as possible, and then I can always shim here because I'm going to strap the lower side. I'm going to fur this down with 3/4 inch stock, and that'll allow me to bring everything straight. But as you can see, the back section is just about done. Before I go home, I'm going to stick maybe a couple more in here, but there's about 5 or 6 left to do in that section. It looks like I'm going to have enough material to do it, of the long stock. This is what I have left. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, plus I have 3 that I can straighten. Those are a little more crooked, so if I have to, I can straighten them and use them, like I said, just shim them down on the other side, on the inside. But I mean, the ridge turned out nice. Overall, it was a nice straight ridge. So I will bring you back, try to finish up the video tomorrow as we get the roof, hopefully, and some of that end wall framed. Lord willing, I'll be back. Welcome back. It's coming to the end of the next day. It's been a hot one here. Haven't really pushed it too hard because of the heat, close to 100. But I did get some stuff done today, so I'll bring you up and show you what I did. Okay. I have been framing, putting the rest of the rafters in and framing the end wall today. Every piece has to be stick cut because of the way that is. It's gonna, that Jenkins head took a while to get the everything sorted out to where I wanted it, and so now I've got to cut those very end rafter off, cut the two end rafters off and build that in, but I've still got to put the blocking in. So the only thing that's left is a couple rafters here on each side. They're going to be cut in, come around and show you on this side, cut in to the hip that's going to go from there down. So that's for tomorrow. And of course the dormer. But you can get a feel now for the size of the room. So it's going to be a nice big schoolroom for them, for my kids. Now, granted, by the time you bring in the knee walls at 4 feet, and then put bookcases in, it's going to take, you know, some of the floor area out, but it's a 24-foot wide building and 30 feet long. So, yeah. I'm going to put the end blocks in, the spacer blocks. I can bring you along for a little bit of that, and then we'll finish out the day. Okay, what I was doing there is actually I'm putting in the uprights and nailer blocks for the knee wall. So put that one in, I put the one in over there. So this wall is now complete, with the exception, once I get the Jenkins head framed, I am going to put the nailer blocks up here to pick up the strapping when I strap the underneath side of these rafters. The reason I'm strapping these rafters is because they're not all even. Some of them are 8.5, some of them are 9.5. I was using whatever I could get out of my lumber, with the understanding that I knew I would eventually be strapping perpendicular the main area where I'm going to be sheetrocking, which is not a lot, because by the time you put your collar ties on, bring in your knee walls, there's only about maybe 8 or 9 feet of wall or of slope. So about 6 runs, maybe 8 runs will do that. So my next project for tomorrow morning is tackle that Jenkins head, tie in the last 4 rafters. I have got, as far as material, I've got a nice one here. I've got one, that's the pattern. Now the pattern does have to go in right beside the dormer here. There is one rafter that goes in there. I just wanted to leave it out so I could work beside that dormer a little easier. Now the 4 that's going in, the 2 here and the 2 on this other side, I think I can get at least 2 of them out of 16 footers. Now there's a 16, I used 16 footers on this end, and I just spliced them because I knew I'd be cutting them off because the Jenkins head is coming back down. And I'll show you what that looks like tomorrow when I do that. But I do have 3 more here that are not the best. So I'll pick up probably the 2 better ones, straighten them, snap a line on the where the hump is on the crown of them, straighten them out. Like I said, I'll be strapping the underneath side, so if I have to build them down, I will. But that way I can get the most out of my lumber. And as you can see here, this is going to be a pretty cute room when it's done. I'm glad I listened to a bunch of you who were saying go 30 feet. I wasn't sure whether I was going to have enough material, but it worked out just about right for my long 20-foot stalk. So I'm not exactly sure when that went out. I think it went right out at the end, but I wanted to say be looking for more videos coming as we continue the framing process. Thanks for joining me, but until next time, as always, you have a great day.